Hello, thanks for coming. What if private person-to-person payments were possible worldwide? What if a million people could pay each other all at the same time and all 1 million payments settled in seconds? What if every existing DeFi token on any chain could be wrapped for safekeeping in a Zcash shielded asset and saved privately in your Zashi wallet? What if you could hodl your ZEC, yet at the same time use it as collateral to take part in the vast world of DeFi across many chains? So these what ifs may seem far away, but these are the reason we are building the ZavaX Bridge. It is a building block toward worldwide adoption. ZavaX is not the only possible path. There are other ways to accomplish these goals, and I believe a multi-pronged approach is wise. However, ZavaX is a good one and one that, in my opinion, has a high chance of success. Also, I believe that it's healthier for the Zcash community than an airdrop for a new privacy network because ZEC value will be preserved across the ZavaX bridge, keeping ZEC strong. My personal mission in life, which I probably share with others in this audience, is to help the world shift its entire financial system from the current archaic, corruption-prone, painfully slow, inflexible status quo to a fully decentralized worldwide replacement. For this system to work, it must have these 5 characteristics: globally scalable, fast, inexpensive, private, and with gradated selective disclosure. Avalanche is designed to enable the first 3 in spades. Zcash enables the final 2. So for me, building this ZavaX bridge to connect the 2 platforms was a no-brainer. It aligns perfectly with my own personal mission, and it's been on my mind for a long time, as you can see here. Back in 2021, I tweeted about it to Zuko. I wrote, which will come first? Zcash Foundation implementing Avalanche consensus, or Avalanche adding a copy of the Zcash blockchain as an Avalanche subnet? In the case of both Zcash and Avalanche, I had been familiar with each of these founders' work before their chains were launched. My previous startup had considered integrating Least Authority's Tahoe LAFS software, and for that for that same startup, I had approached a Cornell professor who would soon go on and found Avalanche for some advice about distributed systems, which he generously gave me. So imagine my delight to see each one help to launch their respective innovative and complementary cryptocurrency platforms. Okay, so let's look at where we are today. The first thing we did was to build a prototype, an oracle, which is a necessary element of ZavaX. We built a 3-node permission subnet on Avalanche's Fuji testnet, whose sole purpose was to reach consensus on the contents of a Zcash block at any block height. I'll show you how it works. You just go to zavax-oracle.red.dev, and then you pick one of the 3 nodes to query, and then you put in a block height, and just copy and paste. Let's see here. Let me just type it in. For 9. This is from this morning. And in that quick time, the 3 nodes reached consensus and minted a new block on the ZavaX Oracle subnet And you can see it's a new block because the block height and this block match. And here's the contents of the Zcash blockchain at this block height right there. Um, building the ZavaX Oracle allowed us to accomplish 3 goals. First, my team and I were able to familiarize ourselves with this brand new subnet technology of Avalanche in a way only possible when you actually try to build something useful. Second, a prototype provided a demonstration of Avalanche technology to the Zcash community, whose first reaction, of course, was skeptical. And third, it allowed us to learn the DevOps challenges of operating a subnet over time, security, uptime, upgrades, etc. Next, we designed the architecture documents. We had 2 goals in mind. First, because bridge design is so critical, we felt it important to be meticulous about putting the architecture into written documentation. Second, we knew that clear UML diagrams would allow other software developers and architects to quickly become familiar with the ZavaX Bridge and offer their critiques. And in the last few months, this has paid off. As we had hoped, the architecture documents did get the attention of experts, and soon I was having meetings with other top builders in the space. From these meetings came the next 3 deliverables. First, it was brought to my attention that while Avalanche, like Ethereum, supports BLS signatures, it does not yet support BLS threshold signatures, which we had included in the initial design. Luckily, the Zcash Foundation had just released Frost, so with the help of Paku, we have switched over to using Frost instead of BLS for threshold signing in our design. And by the way, we are also using Zebra. Second, some expressed concern about our design choice to encourage any ZavaX Guardian to also serve as a connection point for the public. The technical term for this is an RPC endpoint. They had this concern because it's a blockchain best practice to insulate nodes as much as possible from attack. Still, for the sake of true decentralization, we wanted to encourage as many RPC endpoints as possible. So we're enhancing their security, and soon we will announce a white hat hacker contest to test these improvements. Third, in order to provide further evidence to the Zcash community that Avalanche subnets are reliable, we have added a one-click button to recheck and verify every single decision that the ZavaX Oracle has made since its launch. This is available now at the bottom of the user interface that we were just looking at. So as a decentralized bridge, ZavaX's strength will be in its guardians. And for launch, it's important to have the guardians of the highest character. Over time, gradually, these guardians will cede control to whoever wants to buy enough of the bridge's staking token, ZACs, to become a guardian themselves. In this way, gradually, the ZavaX bridge will become truly permissionless. I've been in talks with L1 founders and key organizations seeking their support. Though talks are still ongoing, one wonderful sentiment that I have heard more than once is that everyone loves Zcash. In fact, that's a direct quote. I think that in the greater cryptocurrency community, almost everyone understands the crucial importance of privacy and selective disclosure. And they understand that the uninformed and archaic regulatory changes that Dodger, Josh, Peter, Paul, and others have alluded to during this ZCon. So let me be clear, this is a call to action. There is strength in numbers. Just to give you an idea of what would be ideal, we would like ZavaX Guardians operated initially not just by the Zcash Foundation and the Avalanche Foundation, but also by the Ethereum Foundation, the Solana Foundation, the Tezos Foundation, Bootstrap Org, Shielded Labs, and more. We could use the Zcash community's help, your help, in forming these connections. Concurrently, we will be building the software. We are writing it in the Go language because Avalanche's software is written in Go, and we will be utilizing API wrappers to interface with Frost, which is written in another language, Rust. This means that other Zcash projects written in Go will be able to easily copy our Frost implementation strategy in the future. We will then launch to Avalanche and Zcash testnets, and that will be the time for stress testing and auditing. Only once these are complete, we will launch to mainnets. We anticipate this happening late in Q3 of 2024. What? As a decentralized bridge, the more it is used, the stronger it becomes. For this reason, and because of the interest from the Avalanche community, soon after launch, we will add bridging from Bitcoin to Avalanche as well. Because of its $1.2 trillion market cap, even moderate bridging of BTC could greatly enhance ZavaX Bridge security. Before we go, let me end with a little alpha, something no one has seen before. The ZavaX Bridge UX is a deliverable for our next milestone, but we have already completed it. So let me finish up here by sharing it with you how it looked to use the ZavaX Bridge. So before using the bridge, you will need to have an Avalanche address set up in Metamask, and you will need to have transferred some ZEC to a transparent address that is controlled by the same private key as your Avalanche address. In this way, your ZEC is wrapped into ZEC.z using an address that no one but you controls, including the bridge itself. Legal experts take note. Then you just select how much ZEC you would like to send and to what network. Initially, you will be able to send to the Avalanche C chain, but we anticipate these options quickly expanding to other cryptocurrency platforms, especially with the support of other foundations. So you click continue. And here you confirm what you're sending. Click bridge now. Not shown, but at this point, Metamask will pop up and ask you to confirm your intent. Your ZEC will then be wrapped. The main delay will be waiting for enough ZEC blocks to be written to competently confirm that your Zcash transaction was successful. This takes about 20 minutes. It's possible to speed this up in the future to near instantaneous by partnering with a DeFi insurance company on the Avalanche side. And then your wrapped ZEC.z is available in your Avalanche wallet ready for use. By the way, ZEC.z will be configured to automatically bridge with layer 0 and possibly wormhole to other DeFi chains, so your usage options are not limited to just Avalanche. I've just scratched the surface here so far. I think we have a few more minutes left for questions, so let me see if I can answer some. But before I do, I just want to, I love my entire team, but there are 3 members I want to give a shout out to for help getting this presentation together. Tommel, who is working on that security, that RPC security that I mentioned, he had to pause at a strategic point so I could do my live demo. And so thank you, Tommel. Oswaldo, DevOps, keeping track of making sure that everything's going to go smoothly as far as the demo went. And then also Ashmita, who not only designed the UX, but also helped me put together this great slideshow. So thanks to those team members. Okay, so let's see. Okay, first question. Do you think Zebra's current capabilities will be sufficient for the bridge, or will you need some additional functionality? So, okay, so the when money passes from um, Avalanche, like ZEC.z, back and is released as ZEC. That's the most. That's we actually have to make a Zcash transaction to release that ZEC, the correct amount of ZEC, and so that. But we're going to be doing that with frost threshold signatures. So, one thing that comes to mind is Zebra doesn't have a wallet attached to it yet, and we're waiting on that. But that doesn't really apply to um, us because we have to sort of create that mini wallet software ourselves. So, using Frost. Um, and compose that transaction and then just submit it. So as long as we're able to submit that to Zebra, um, which as far as my understanding is that's you can, then we're in good shape. Um, and basically we're using Zebra as an oracle. So just as a source of proof of what has happened on the Zcash blockchain. Um, will transitioning to POS make the bridge faster than the 20-minute confirmation? Yes, yes. So 20 minutes is a bit arbitrary and not finalized. As Christopher was saying in his talk just prior to mine, there is no finality with proof of stake. However, you get to the point where statistically it's more likely that the Earth explodes than the blockchain is wrong. And you get to that point in under an hour. So somewhere in there, you can, I think, from a human point of view, say this is final. Um, or, worst case, you can notice that there is a massive, massive attack going on Zcash, where there's a chain split and many blocks. There's going to be a reorg in the future. Um, you'd see a very fast increase in hash rate. Um, so I've wrestled with this a little bit. How long do we wait? And 20 minutes seems like right now seems like a good number, but it might be 30 minutes in the long run. What you can do, and what I alluded to in the talk, is you can partner with an insurance company that provides you as the bridge. You as the bridge user provides you with a little tiny bit of insurance for a short, like the shortest term insurance, basically 20-minute or 30-minute insurance that money is really going to get to you. And you would pay them a fee to do that, and we could integrate that into the UX. So it's just wrapped right in there, and you just check a box if you want to use that feature. And then you would get your ZEC.z right away. Um, so that's another thing. But yeah, I mean, proof of stake is um, well, proof of proof of stake can be partnered with um, faster consensus mechanisms. Okay. Oh, how can the community contribute to advancing the ongoing work on the bridge? Great question. Thank you. And I really appreciate that. So, um, and the community has been really supportive. Um, you know, um, for instance, Zcash community grants are paying Paku out of a separate stream, and they said, "Hey, he can help with this." So there's some awesome support right there, and um, that's just huge help. When we have this little hackathon or this little white hat hacker event, I mean, we really want this. We want to see if people can shut down this subnet, and if they do manage to shut it down, how shut down is it? Is it a temporary distributed denial of service type of thing? Um, because we really want to launch a robust product. So there's another example. And we have a forum thread going, and I will definitely post when we can get help from the community. Um, at this point with the software, I think we're in the too many cooks could spoil the broth kind of thing, but we won't be there forever. So as parts break off that could be the software is open source, so anyone can contribute. But I think we'll really want contributions a little later on. So I hope that answers you. Thank you. Uh, okay. Does Frost satisfy all of your requirements? Is there anything missing in the protocol or implementation? Out of curiosity, what threshold and number of signers are you using? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So from what we can see, I had one meeting with Conrado, and then Paku has been revising our specs to include Frost, and everything looks good so far. Everything looks good, but we're going to have another meeting in the next couple of weeks, hopefully with Conrado and um, anyone else from who's been working on Frost, just to make sure that we're understanding. There's a clear understanding of how this fairly new software works, but it looks good. And then threshold. So we're looking at a 70%. So the validators will have stake on them. We're calling the validators guardians. So in Avalanche, so let me back up here. And let me look at the time here. Yeah, we have a few minutes. Okay, so the Avalanche subnets are basically plug and play blockchains that are right next to all the other subnets and Avalanche's mainnet. And as such, the bridging between our subnet and the C chain is just effortless because it's pre-written by Avalanche using Avalanche Warp messaging. There's a product called Teleporter um, that Avalanche has produced just for the purpose of bridging. And I just shot a message after watching Christopher's talk about the IBC connections because we may also, I think somebody else is working on that. There are a lot of people doing a lot of stuff on Avalanche. So um, so that's how a subnet works. So there are two kinds of subnets. One is a permissioned subnet where maybe a bank or a consortium of banks wants to run 100 validators, but they want them for themselves and they don't want anyone else in them. Well, they set these validators up permissioned and they run them that way. And for our prototype, that's how we did it because that's what's available now. But what is on the Fuji testnet are elastic subnets, where it's a permissionless subnet, where there's a staking token, and um, then you can set up your set flexibility about the rules that you can set up. It's really broad, extremely broad. It's a container, and indeed you can run um, other virtual machines. It's a common use case to run an Ethereum virtual machine inside a subnet, but we are not doing that. We're writing a custom virtual machine that's only purpose, it's written in Go, and its only purpose is to do this bridging. That's it. And then the money ends up, the ZEC.z ends up on the C chain in this version 1. So, okay, so to answer your question, 70% to move funds, a 70%. So we need a 70% threshold of stake to move funds. So, and because you can't just say this guardian has 10 votes and this guardian has 5 votes with Frost, we actually have to give the guardian with 5% 5 votes or 50 votes, and the guardian with 10 votes 100 votes, and then the threshold is 70% to actually move money. So that's it. And don't hold me to that, but that's what's been sort of settled in our minds as a safe number. Okay, let's see. If I want to use the bridge, do I need a separate AVAX wallet, or can I use the derivation path for the wallet I already use for ZEC? Okay, so when you have a ZEC wallet, it's really just a private key, right? And so that private key can be used. You're using it for ZEC, but it could also be just as well used for Avalanche or Ethereum, and maybe you already understand that. So forgive me if I'm maybe other people in the audience don't, but that's the case. So you really already have an Avalanche wallet, you just don't know the address probably. So yeah, you could use that, sure. We'd actually recommend that you create um, a separate wallet just for, I don't know. It's just a little clearer about what's going on. But that would be supported. Yeah. Um, let's see. Okay, let's see. If here, I'm gonna just take a sip of water here. Okay. If Zcash was available on MetaMask from a MetaMask snap, which has been proposed to the ZCG by ChainSafe team, would that improve the UX of ZavaX Bridge? Yes, yes, sure. And if we want to, that would be a great. There's a partnership opportunity right there, because uh, we're going to have to write a snap. We can write a very, very simple snap, but we have to write a very, very simple snap in order to get MetaMask, because MetaMask at the very, very, very bare minimum needs to sign a Zcash transaction, and then to put in a user interface on top of that, make it nice, and have a whole bunch of different functionality. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. So I haven't talked to anyone on the ChainSafe team. Let's get in touch. So that would be cool. All right. Well, hey, listen, thanks everybody. We're really excited to be working on this. My call to action, um, please take heed of that. I assume some people in the audience are on the Zcash Foundation, on the Avalanche Foundation, on the Tezos Foundation. Um, and I and on the Solana Foundation. And I hope we can all work together um, to secure this bridge as it's launched. It just makes it's good for the ecosystem. It's good for Zcash, and it's just we all know that we need these parts um, of privacy and selective disclosure. Um, those are key elements of um, building this decentralized financial system. And for the whole crypto community to be saying, yes, this is important, and yes, we support that, that would be a great thing. So, all right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time, and hi from everybody at Red Dev, which is the name of the company building ZavaX. Okay.